My name is Noha Polak from Progressive Pediatrics in Union City in Bayonne, New Jersey, where I've been practicing pediatrics for the last 25 years. Again, today's topic is camp attendance. Why would you want to send your kids to camp this season? The bottom line is this summer, it might be the right time for your children to catch up on some of their skills. A lot of our kids haven't been around people for a while. It would be good to start to reconnect with other people besides their parents and siblings. It would be great to catch up on some skills in terms of sports and social skills as well. So that's one reason you can consider sending your kids to camp. However, there's still COVID in our community. So, what do we want to do about that? We want to make sure that we minimize the risk to our children. The studies have shown that if the camp that your child is attending takes certain precautions, that most likely your child is at very low risk of getting COVID or getting very sick from COVID. What are those things that the camp should be following? Number one, mask wearing for all children over the age of 2 years, especially in adults. Number two, physical distancing, having enough space. Number three, having people and children be in small groups of five or less and have one or two camp counselors per group, and not that the camp counselors should not be changing different groups, and whether they have daily disinfecting procedures. So those are the four things I'd like you to consider in any camp. Those are the basics: mask wearing, physical distancing, small groups, and daily disinfecting. So if you're going to interview a camp that you're considering sending your child to, what should you ask them? Number one, I would ask, what are the camps and the counselors doing to remind children of all of the safety procedures? So are there signs to keep your mask on, especially over your nose? Are there signs for the kids to remind them to stay not too close to each other? That's number one. Number two is it an outdoor camp? Of course, outdoor camps are much less likely to have disease than indoor camps because there's less contagion. So I would be much more comfortable sending my child to a camp where they're spending most of their time outdoors. Number three, is there any equipment that they share? If they're sharing equipment, I'm not too comfortable with that. So the less they share in terms of equipment, the better. Number four, what happens if someone gets sick, either an adult, a camp counselor, or a child? What are their procedures? If their procedures are to immediately quarantine and send the children, away from other people and other kids, and to quarantine that whole group, then you should be comfortable. If they have lax procedures, I would not be comfortable sending my child there. What about staggered arrival times? Can they make sure that not everybody comes in exactly the same time? That's one important thing. And next on is, what about the counselors? Are they trained in handling separation anxiety? This year has been tough for kids. They're going to have a hard time separating from parents. So how are the camps actually training their counselors in how to deal with separation anxiety? That's a really good question to ask. And then, very importantly, is snacks and meals. Where are the kids going to be eating? If it's possible to eat outdoors, it would be great. Safest way to do it is to have the child bring their own food and their own water bottle so that nothing is shared in the camp. And also to make sure that they eat either separately away from each other or in very small pods so that when they take their masks off, they're not exposing multiple people. So big cafeterias or big dining halls are no longer really safe at this point for children. Also, if it's a sleepaway camp, what is the sleeping arrangement? Are the beds arranged at least 6 feet apart? And are the children going to be sleeping in a head to toe configuration where it's not like they're sitting right next to each other and talking to each other? One child's head here and the feet there, and vice versa. So they should be staggered. And lastly, what about testing? Are they having testing requirements? So some camps are going to require testing before you arrive. And if they do, that's great. What about testing while you're there? It's possible that everyone arrives negative and someone turns positive for COVID later on. So those are my recommendations. Please consider asking your camps those questions if you're considering sending your children to camp. Now, I just want to make sure that we all understand that there's no such thing as no risk for COVID. So every single thing that I suggested today will decrease the risk of your child getting COVID, but nothing can totally eliminate that risk. And the risk of children that are healthy being very sick, of course, is very low. Thank goodness for that. So we at Progressive Pediatrics are there to discuss your own child's specific needs when and if you need us. We're also able to do the camp physicals, school physicals, and submit it for you to the camp or give it to you directly. Please let us help you any way we can. My recommendations are please consider having your child socialize in a safe way this summer so that when school time comes, that it is safer for them. They will be really good at wearing masks at that time. However, if you do choose to send your children to camp in order to kind of reconnect with their own age group and with other people, please make sure that the camp follows all of the CDC guidance as well as asking all the questions that I suggested today. So once again, at Progressive Pediatrics in Union City, we're open 7 days per week. And in Bayonne, we're open 5 days per week. We're there to answer your questions, to do physical exams, and to help in any way. We also offer televisits if you want to have any other discussions. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and bye-bye.